Do you know the phrase, the will to live? It is the instinct towards self-preservation and the forward-looking relationship to life through dreams, aspirations, and expectations of the future. It implies a sense of meaning and our desire to continue with our life, to stay alive as long as we can. When we wake up in the morning, most of us experience a sense of inward drive. There is some hope present, some sense of moving ahead and improving our lot in life. The forces of sadness, gloom, pessimism, or depression may be present to some degree, but mostly we overcome these and meet the day in an, on balance, optimistic frame of mind. This is arguably an expression of our will to live, to adopt an overall positive attitude to life. If or when this overall positive frame of mind wanes due to incessant routine, setbacks, losing heart, or dissatisfaction, we have a number of ways to regain our optimism, to set ourselves straight and get back into the driving seat of our lives. Good friends will counsel us over a cup of coffee, exuberant music, a night out, sharing a bottle of wine with a loved one, going to a party, going to see a movie. Other more dubious methods for attempting to regain our equilibrium and poise also exist. Recreational drugs, overindulgence in sex, binge drinking. For the religiously inclined, there are church services, hymn singing, and prayer. For the more spiritually minded, a meditation retreat or course, reading the Bhagavad Gita or the inspiring lives of Gandhi, Ramakrishna, or St. Teresa of Avila. Many ways exist to keep our heads above water. From a cup of tea to an exorbitant holiday to a world cruise, we have available to us ways and means to stay on track, to want to live, to become re-enthused with life and its possibilities when we lose sight of our life's goals and aspirations, when we lose the will to live. As we age, there is a lessening of this hold, this will to live. It is a double-edged sword. On the one hand, we seem to become naturally more contemplative, less inclined toward activity. This week I met a man of 87 who told me that one of the events of old age he had not been prepared for was just sitting and doing nothing. He said he found himself sitting and doing nothing often. On the other hand, we may cling to activity. Another older person I know places much value in keeping busy. It is her link to life, her raison d'etre. She keeps busy. The results of her industriousness are secondary to her drive to remain active. Keeping the house clean, the gardening done, bringing the shopping in are all important aspects of life, but keeping busy seems to be the point of it all. When we're older, if we do not keep busy, we have time to contemplate. to consider, to commune. If we let go of busyness and allow ourselves to sit quietly a little more, we can grow in wisdom and align ourselves with the natural tendency to cease from doing and allow our inner sense of being to come naturally to the forefront of our life. We let go of the will to live in the sense of clinging to life, holding on to life, and to living as long as we possibly can. Instead, we place emphasis on the quality of our lives over the quantity. The new meaning and purpose of life in older age may be substantially different to the meaning and purpose of life in our younger and middle years. Younger people today have lost the will to live more than at any other time in humanity's development. Are you surprised? I was. Arguably, young people today are unhappier than ever before, in spite of the fact that they have more material possessions than ever before. More young people than ever now want to commit suicide. We are baffled, and more than this, we're afraid. When people of any age or life circumstance do not want to live, when people become dejected, disillusioned with life, we get worried. The closer these people are to us, for example, our friends or members of our family, the more it affects us. The closer it is to home, the more worried we are that we may feel just like them, and the more anxious we become that the many ways of distracting ourselves from despondency and despair may become ineffective. Not to want to live is a great sin in our collective ancestral memory. We may remember the ones who are not buried in the churchyard, the ones whose souls will not go to heaven, but live in purgatory for committing the sin of taking their own lives. The despair that follows disillusionment or disenchantment, and which may lead to suicide, may be attributed to a mental disorder, such as depression, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, alcoholism or drug abuse, financial difficulties or troubles with interpersonal relationships. But there is another kind of despair, another kind of disenchantment. And it may be very difficult for us to spot the difference and to know why and how it is different. This despair is different in essence when it is spiritual in nature. It is also sane, supremely sane, and in the life of spiritual seekers, those who are in search of themselves, this despair, this disillusionment, and this disenchantment with life signifies a threshold, a spiritual transformation, a movement through the veils. It is a vital step in your liberation from the chains, from the bindings of the world and your attachment to it. Spiritual disenchantment begins in a variety of ways. Objects, activities and events which gave you pleasure, interested or fascinated you, seem dull. You feel less enthusiastic about pursuits that previously entertained or enthused you. It may only come in small increments you may hardly notice. There's a hint of danger about this incremental incursion, this slow motion surge of disinterest, of apathy, or inertia. Occasionally, the experience of disenchantment is sudden, unexpected, in a deep realization that your heart has changed in some radical way that you cannot, for the moment, understand. The immediate response, of course, is to distract yourself. Who, after all, wants to pitch themselves wholly into the vat of despair? You would lose yourself, your sense of yourself, your sense of purpose, the way in which you make sense of the world and its mysteries, its nonsense and its profundity, its humanness and foibles, its sacredness and its bright illumination. No, the first thought is, whoa, let's get back on top of this. This is because you've been conditioned to think and react like that. You've been conditioned to be rigid, inflexible, fixed in your character and your mind, not enabled or empowered to meet the forces of change and transformation without resistance. You've been conditioned to live through many veils of protection, through armoring and defensive strategies that ensure your survival. You live your life as if it is a battle, and it has been a battle, and that's where you learn the strategies on life's battlefield.